Thank you all. Please be seated. Most urgent priority for success in Iraq is security, especially in Baghdad. The new strategy is not going to yield immediate results. It's going to take a while. The American people have got to understand that suicide bombings won't stop immediately. The IED attacks won't stop immediately. Yet over time, we can expect to see positive results, and that would be the Iraqis chasing down the murderers.
But last night, the President, in choosing escalation, ignored the will of the people, the advice of the Baker-Hamilton Commission, and a significant number of top generals, 2 of whom were commanders in the field. In choosing to escalate the war, the President virtually stands alone.
Mr. President, we are in a hole in Iraq, and the President says the way to dig out of this hole is to dig deeper. Does that make sense? When you're in a hole, you get out by digging deeper? This is a reckless plan.
In this session so that we can get it done. And
will our troops go into Iran or Syria in pursuit? I have to say, Madam Secretary, that I think this speech given last night by this president represents the most dangerous foreign policy blunder in this country since Vietnam, if it's carried out. I will resist it.
I just must tell you that I've gone along with the president on this, and I bought into his dream. And at this stage of the game, I don't think it's going to happen. And
these 5 brigades are going to be kicking in doors, standing on street corners, patrolling neighborhoods, going to second-story walk-up.
The situation in Iraq is unacceptable. But Iraq is also, at this point in time, of very high stakes to this nation. This is a time for a national desire and a national imperative not to fail in Iraq. We've faced crucible tests as a country before, and we've come through them when we have come through them together.
Part that you will turn to General Pace for and several 100,000 troops short.
Whatever one's views of the original decision to go to war and the decisions that have brought us to this point, there seems to be broad agreement that failure in Iraq would be a calamity for our nation of lasting historical consequence. By the Iraqis in addressing the underlying issues dividing the country.
I believe that under the Constitution, the Congress has the right to cut off funding. They did that during the Vietnam War. I also believe that if that vote is successful, then those who were the proponents of it then assume the responsibility for the consequences of failure.
Good morning. Hill to discuss with the Congress the new strategy for Iraq.
We'll have to see in terms of the length of time. It's really hard to say at this point. It's viewed as a temporary surge, but I think no one has a really clear idea of how long that might be.
But we must be mindful of the fact that our active forces